To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I forgot to turn on the volume. I pledge allegiance to the flag, so excuse me for that. Like always, I'm going to be requesting the freedom of Roger Stones, not only of Roger Stones, but of Cuba, from this nightmarish, criminal, communist dictatorship. Here's the number to call. Everybody that can, just flood the phone number here. There you go, 202-456-1414. Call now and request the immediate release of Roger Stone from prison. There's no reason why he should be in prison. The ones that should be in prison is all members of the Democrat Party, almost all of them, the whole DNC. They're the ones who are traitors, corrupt, criminal, and the ones that should be in prison, not Roger Stone. Okay. And like I say, let's free Cuba too. I see we're almost near and almost ready to free Venezuela from communism. Now let's do it with Cuba. Cuba is another narco regime, criminal narco regime, which is harassing all oppositions and protests from people who are denouncing the corruption, including throwing rocks at the house, at the apartment of Jose Daniel Ferrer Garcia, who is the leader of UNPACO. What is the Salvation Army in the United States? In Cuba is UNPACO. They're doing the same thing. They're trying to help their people. They're trying to denounce corruption. They're trying to denounce the crimes committed by the regime. They're trying to alleviate the hunger that many people, including seniors and other people, who are just in dire and terrible crisis over there. The situation, the economic situation is terrible. And it has to do, and is due to communism. Communism destroys the wealth, expropriate everything. It goes into the government's hands and they destroy everything. They just pillage the whole nation, the island, or anywhere they're implanted. Venezuela is an example, Nicaragua, North Korea. I don't know about Vietnam because I'm not interested. They picked that one, but I think Vietnam also and China, and I think now Spain voted for socialism and Mexico. So people don't want to learn. But I know we need to free Cuba. There's been over 61 years. Is enough. That nightmare. And it's not enough. The crisis and nightmare that they're suffering over there. So let's go to the news. Let me put this video. I like to put videos because videos they're just incredibly entertaining and very informative. I want to see this interview on Fox, Pelosi on Fox. Let's see what this lady has to say. I really don't care what anything she has to say.
Usually in January and February. I want to point out, as you are right now, have been very critical of President Trump, especially for what you say is the time that he lost initially in January and February in responding to the virus.
I hope the teeth doesn't fall out.
I want to point out that on February 24th, you
She's a
went
real
on a
witch.
walking tour of Chinatown
A
to
real
try to
witch.
promote tourism there. And here's some of what you had to say.
That's what we're trying to do today, is to say everything is fine here. Come, because precautions have been taken. But we think it's very safe to be in Chinatown and hope that others will come.
If the president underplayed the threat in the early days, Speaker Pelosi, didn't you as well?
No, what we're trying to do is to end the discrimination, the stigma that was going out against the Asian American community. And in fact, if you will look, the record will show that our Chinatown has been a model of containing and preventing the virus. So I'm confident in our folks there.
Yeah, like the virus that came out of China.
Some of the things that the president and others were saying about Asian Americans and making them a target of violence across the country. In fact, some hate crimes.
But forgive me, don't you think that when you're out
She thinks she's really vain.
She
thinks she's all that.
April when this happened, and saying
She's just
that there's no
incredibly
threat, it's
stupid.
perfectly safe there. Weren't you also adding to this perception that there wasn't such
And
a threat
evil,
generally?
besides that.
No, I was saying that you should not discriminate against Chinese Americans, as some in our administration were doing by the way they were labeling the flu and that. No, indeed. And again, I think if you check the record, and that's current.
We're checking your record.
That Chinatown has been a model in all of this. And that's what we're saying. Look to them for answers.
She's just a communist disguised as a Democrat. Communist. That's what she is. She's a communist. That's what she truly is. Defending China, a communist, oppressive country. Oh, wow, there's just a lot of information today. But just in case they block me or the signal goes off on me, go to my blog. Remember to always write down my name, Eduardo Rodriguez. I pledge allegiance to the flag. Let's see what 50 cents has to say. I'm not interested in hearing a rapper. Let's go to my blog. Anybody wants to see that one? I want to see something on Joe Biden. It's Next News Network.
Joe Biden's latest rambling of words on CNN continues to not instill confidence for a Trump debate. Welcome back to the Next News Network. Please check you are subscribed by clicking the red button and turning on the bell. Anyway, Julia Rosas from the Town Hall reports that former Vice President Joe Biden's latest appearance on CNN continues to show that the last Democratic presidential candidate is not ready for a one-on-one debate with President Trump. Biden, 77, of course, being that he's that old, is really insane, was on CNN for a town hall with anchor Anderson Cooper and Dr. Sanjay Gupta to discuss the ongoing Wuhan CV crisis and how it looks as though the United States will begin to lift the lockdowns in some parts of the country. Now, Biden attempted to discuss how President Franklin Delano Roosevelt created the War Production Board during World War II to increase materials and equipment for combat. Instead, Biden stumbled on his own repeatedly words for almost a full 20 seconds. Trump's re-election campaign was quick to post the video, and instead of having to add any commentary on the video, they simply posted Biden's own words. Take a look.
Kinds of things that have to be done. There's during World War II, where Roosevelt came up with a thing that was totally different than he called the World War II. He had the War Production Board.
Biden gaffes, both verbal and physical, are almost too many to keep track. And as the campaign season rolls on, it does not bode well for the former Delaware senator. Even with the tough scheduling of campaigning across the country no longer an issue thanks to the CV crisis, Biden is still having trouble doing the basics of politicking as a major party's nominee. In fact, Biden's not just having a difficult time politicking. He seems to be having a hard time communicating basic words. Recently, he just told a story, and he couldn't finish the story without stuttering. In fact, he couldn't finish the story at all. Joe Biden is an insane excuse for somebody that wants to lead the country. You know the Democrats are in crisis when this is the man that they chose for the job. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, may God bless the United States of America. Please share these reports. I'm signing out.
Thank you for watching that report. You know, in a time of crisis like the spread of the coronavirus, staying prepared is the most important thing.
For the next one. So this one, I think this one is Next News Network also.
Elon Musk destroys CNN in a viral tweet that says everything you need to know. Welcome back to the Next News Network. Please check your subscribe by clicking below and turning on that bell. So Clayton Cairns from Trending Politics reports, as you know, CNN is the king of fake news. They lie every single day of the year, and thankfully more Americans are waking up to their nonsense. Their latest batch of fake news comes at the expense of the electric car company Tesla. Early Thursday morning, CNN tweeted an article that said Tesla had sent 0 ventilators to the state of California. As with almost any CNN story resonating with the American people, Musk's tweet has received over 26,000 retweets and over 114,000 likes in less than 12 hours. Musk then followed up his tweet with proof of ventilators being delivered to the state of California. But I'm not surprised. I remember he said that actually the hospitals, surgeon generals, including those of the state, agreed that the ventilators did get delivered. But CNN didn't think to investigate. They just went after what one official in California said. But of course, they didn't look into the matter. They went with a sensational story that demonized somebody and then, of course, threw their entire company under the bus while freaking the American people out, which is what CNN likes to do. But I'm not freaked out, and many aren't anymore, because we're not believing the tricks of CNN. Their days are over. Anyway, thank you so much again for watching. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to keep this independent media journalism stick channel alive. My name's Elijah Schaefer. Have a great rest of the week. May God bless the United States of America. I'm signing out.
Thank you for watching that last report. You know, coffee is a simple part of our day, but in a pandemic,
Okay, let's see this one here on Hillary Clinton to face justice. I hope she does face justice, and soon. This lady should be in prison for life. Man, if I was president,
Subpoena on Google to produce Hillary Clinton's
the death
missing
penalty.
emails from the Google account believed to contain her government emails when she served as Secretary of State. The subpoena was authorized by a D.C. federal court. According to documents and testimony, Platte River Network's IT specialist Paul Gambetta reportedly used the Google account to transfer Clinton's emails from a laptop to a Platte River server, then used BleachBit to remove any traces of the emails from the laptop. Judicial Watch released a statement. Judicial Watch's subpoena seeks all Clinton emails from her time at state, January 21st, 2009 to February 1st, 2013. Google is requested to produce the emails by May 13th. Tom Fitton, Judicial Watch president, said, a federal court, tired of the state and Justice Department's gamesmanship, authorized Judicial Watch's subpoena to Google to follow a lead on the Clinton emails. DOJ and state RAWOL in covering up for Hillary Clinton, so it is again up to Judicial Watch to do the basic investigative heavy lifting to get at the truth. Judicial Watch's subpoena comes on the heels of a lawsuit that seeks records concerning talking points or updates on the Benghazi attack. In an August 2019 federal court hearing, U.S. District Court Judge Royce Lamberth raised concerns about Clinton's GMAIL cache and ordered Judicial Watch to shake this tree on the issue. Judge Lamberth noted that Senator Grassley released a report in which he had some very troubling information about a guy named Gambetta, who had been one of the contract employees on the Clinton emails, and he and the senator who chairs the Homeland Security Committee released in the Senate this report Friday, and the gist of it was that Gambetta had said, I guess, that he had created a dummy email account with all of the Hillary Clinton emails in a different name, and the FBI had investigated that to see whether or not the Chinese had ever hacked into it. They have determined that the Chinese had it, but that the FBI never told the State Department about that account, and that the emails that were not given over to State could have been obtained from that account, but the FBI never told State about it. So it leaves out in the open whether there are these other emails that State could have obtained, but nobody ever bothered to tell State about them. I don't know the status of that, and I'm sure you don't either, but it did occur to me that would be a problem for me, as to whether an adequate examination of that circumstance occurred, and assuming that Gambetta deleted them, as he said he did before he took the fifth, I guess, whether or not the server that they were on, or whoever maintained the server, whether they can be reconstructed from by that. Just last week, the Senate Finance and Homeland Security Committees released documents revealing that Clinton IT aide Paul Gambetta copied all but 4 of the missing emails to a Gmail account that does not appear to have ever been reconstructed and searched. The court thinks Judicial Watch ought to shake this tree. As published by Judicial Watch. On March 2, 2020, Judge Lamberth granted Judicial Watch's request to subpoena Google for relevant documents and records associated with Clinton's emails during her tenure at the State Department. Judicial Watch seeks to subpoena Google for relevant documents and records associated with Secretary Clinton's emails during her tenure at State. The subpoena seeks to discover new emails, so it certainly relates to whether State conducted an adequate search. Judicial Watch's subpoena requests all Clinton emails and metadata sent or forwarded to or from or saved, stored, archived, or contained in the Gmail account associated with the following address. A. CarterHeavyIndustries@gmail.com or B. CarterHeavyIndustries@gmail.com. The court is not confident that State currently possesses every Clinton email recovered by the FBI, even years after the FBI investigation. The slow trickle of new emails has yet to be explained. For this reason, the court believes the subpoena would be worthwhile, and may even uncover additional previously undisclosed emails. Accordingly, the court grants this request. In December 2018, Judge Lamberth first ordered discovery into whether Secretary Clinton's use of a private email server was intended to stymie FOIA, whether the State Department's intent to settle this case in late 2014 and early 2015 amounted to bad faith, and whether the State Department has adequately searched for records responsive to Judicial Watch's request. The court also authorized discovery into whether the Benghazi controversy motivated the cover-up of Clinton's email. The court ruled that the Clinton email system was one of the gravest modern offenses to government transparency. In addition to the Google subpoena, Judicial Watch was granted discovery that includes testimony under oath by Clinton and her former Chief of Staff Cheryl Mills regarding Clinton's emails and Benghazi attack records. Recently, Judicial Watch and the State Department, which is represented by Justice Department lawyers, filed responses opposing Clinton's and Mills' writ of mandamus request to overturn the lower court order requiring their testimony.
Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
Okay, let's go to the next one. There's some more news here. You know, it's incredible to believe that there's so much evidence against Hillary Clinton, but then she's not in prison. So, you know, I can't just figure out that one. How can an innocent man like Roger Stones, who was found guilty on trumped-up charges by the communists that's taken over the Democrat Party, but this lady can't go to prison? The law can't touch her. What was the reason? What was the reason the law can't touch Joe Biden? Adam Schiff, Nadler, and many others, almost the whole DNC. I want to figure out that one. You know, I can't understand that. Somebody can somebody answer me that one? Why? It just doesn't make sense. If it was in another country, she would be hung for treason. That's how treacherous and her past has been. Her criminal cases, incredible. It merits the death penalty. I can't figure out why she's not in prison. At least put her in prison, handcuff her and throw her in prison for life. If you're not gonna institute the capital punishment, well, put her in prison for life. That's what she should be. I know if I would have done something like that, half of what she done, I'd be in prison, including suspicion of murder too. But if I do it, they'll throw away the keys, even for one case. No, you're going to, like Roger Stone's, life in prison for nothing. This is just terrible. I'm going to see this one here. Virginian patriots rally against the communists in Virginia, in that state.
Virginia patriots rally once again against the far-left governor. Welcome back to the next news.
Far-left governor, the communist.
Subscribe by clicking below and turning on that bell. Justin Caruso from the Daily Caller reports that protesters gathered Thursday in front of the Virginia state capitol in Richmond, demanding that the state be reopened. Virginians protesting the stay-at-home orders due to the CV are following the lead of other protesters around the country. This week, protests occurred outside state capitals in Michigan, Kentucky, and North Carolina. Now, in North Carolina, Tuesday, protesters were threatened and arrested by police, while in Michigan, there were protests against Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer's lockdown orders on Wednesday. Local news outlet WFXR reports that three groups, End of the Lockdown Virginia, Virginians Against Excessive Quarantine, and Reopen Virginia, were involved in the Reopen Virginia demonstration. Protesters held a number of signs, including their dislike of the shutdown orders. Reopen Virginia, one man's sign simply read. My body, my choice to work, one woman's sign read, a play on words of the pro-choice slogan, my body, my choice. And we will not comply, another woman's sign read. But of course, I do stand in solidarity with these people. I mean, there really isn't evidence that most of these people not going to work is really going to help lower the numbers. I understand taking precautions, social distancing, trying to have better hygiene and sanitation in general, as we should in a modern country. But taking these steps to shut down the economy, not only do I not think it's worth it, but I don't know if in fact it really is going to be what changed the course of our country. Anyway, we would have been better off if China just told the truth from the beginning. But because China lied, people died. My name is Elijah Schaefer. Please share these reports. May God bless the United States of America. I'm signing out.
Thank you for watching that last report. Coffee is a simple part of our day, but in a pandemic, it can make a world of difference. Franklin's finest coffee is
Tucker Carlson reveals Michelle Obama's sick plan to destroy America as
Yeah,
we
that's what it
now
is. That's
know
sick.
it. Welcome back to the next
The
news.
Democrat
Please check
plan
subscribe by clicking
is
below
communism,
and
which is
turning on the
very
bell
sick.
anyway. Cassandra Fairbanks from the Gateway Pundit reports Fox News host Tucker Carlson blasted Michelle Obama's support for radical expansion of mail-in voting in November, warning that the extreme measures could destroy American democracy. But of course, we know that that's what they really want. Carlson warned that mail-in voting would destroy the public's faith in election outcomes, and hence our democracy itself. Take a look.
Former First Lady Michelle Obama is using this crisis to promote the radical expansion of nationwide voting by mail. Citizens could request ballots
Michelle
online and then
alias
print them
Michael.
at home. Now, no serious person at the national level has ever suggested doing that before because, of course, it would instantly destroy the public's faith in election outcomes and hence our democracy. But if there was ever a time to sneak something this disruptive past a beleaguered and distracted population, this is it. The justification for all this? Take a guess. Yes, racism.
The former First Lady co-chairs an organization called When We All Vote, which claims to be nonpartisan, that released a statement on Monday arguing in favor of mail-in voting. The statement claimed that barriers to voting have long existed for young people and communities of color. USA Today reports that in 2005, a bipartisan electoral reform commission concluded that vote-by-mail programs create concerns about privacy, as citizens voting from home may come under pressure to vote for certain candidates, and perhaps more significantly, increase the risk of fraud. But what are your thoughts on that? Do you think they really care if there's fraud? Do you think that they have a mind that actually has an issue with people voting under pressure? No, you don't, because we know what party votes under pressure. That's the party and the same party of tolerance. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the description. Have a great rest of the week. As always, may God bless the United States of America. Please always know as you share these reports, it helps us out a lot. I'm signing out.
I hope you enjoyed that last report. Before this crisis.
Can you see this one here? Okay. This is an announcement. Let's see what Dennis Miller has to say.
Dennis Miller makes hilarious return to Fox News with an appearance on Hannity. Welcome back to the Next News Network. Please check your subscribe by clicking below and turning on that bell. Mike LaChance from the Gateway Pundit reports, if you have been watching Fox News over the years, you probably remember Dennis Miller's regular appearance on The O'Reilly Factor. It has been 3 years since Miller has appeared on the network, but he showed up on the Sean Hannity show this week with hilarious results. Comedian and former Monday Night Football analyst Dennis Miller joked late Wednesday that he was eating steaks marinated in some hydroxychloroquine while wasting away in mitigation villa amid the CV virus. When Hannity broached presumptive Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden, who received several high-profile endorsements this week, including the former President Obama and one-time 2020 rivals Senators Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders, Miller argued that former vice president isn't the politician he once was. Take a look.
It's been 3 years since 3 years since I've been on Fox, and things have changed over there. I noticed Donna Brazil sent over tonight's questions for me this afternoon, so they must have had some sort of shake-up over there. What I do today, I've been lying around all day, wasting away in Mitigationville. I've got a couple steaks over here marinated in some hydroxychloroquine. Going to knock back a couple azithromycin Jello shooters later, and then I'm going to binge watch Aqualung Biden's blooper reel from this week. I can't believe that people were endorsing this guy. I know he lost his fastball, but I've been watching him lately. I think he's lost his curve. I think he lost his slider, and I think he's wearing his cup as an N95 mask. The guy should be in the back seat on a Sonic commercial.
Now, it's hilarious that Hannity should make this a regular segment. And really, I do believe that. Because honestly, we need some more humor in the world. Because nothing is more funny than the fact that Joe Biden thinks that he can win the presidency of the United States. Nobody's going to vote for Joe Biden because they want him. It's only because they have to. And in fact, I believe that's a lot of the reason why Donald Trump won the last election. It was like, well, at least he's not that girl who kills her friends. But anyway, when it comes to Joe Biden, it's like, well, Trump, at least he doesn't have dementia. At least Trump can speak English, even if I don't like the words that he says, the left and the middle might say, but at least he can speak at all. Anyway, thank you so much again for watching. Please share these reports, and may God bless the United States of America. I'm signing out.
I hope you enjoyed that last report. Before this crisis happened, Noble Gold had been helping investors to educate.
That'll be all for today. So, like I always say, Donald Trump, I always pray for you, pray for your family. I pray for for Mike Pence, and I always pray that God bless America eternally. The same for Israel. I always say I stand with God and Israel eternally. Plus, I always pray for the freedom of Cuba, Venezuela, Nicaragua, North Korea, and China. So like I say, God bless you all. God bless my nation. I hope my people, everybody out there. And I'll see you next time. So goodbye.